Oh, this is him. Oh, good. This is the prince of fucking Iran.
Maria, there's no question that this is the game changer we've been waiting for all this time. The jubilation of Iranians at home and abroad shows how much people were hoping for this moment. And I join millions of Iranians thanking President Trump for taking this into action and delivering on his promise. We are so elated of the fact that now we have the beginning of the very end of the regime, because at least we are going to see more and more decimation of this regime, which can only equal the playing field so that the Iranian people could come back to the streets and claim the country back from this hated regime.
Thank God.
And that is exactly what President Trump has been telling
to return to rule Iran?
To the Iranian people, take back your country. How can they do that, sir?
Well, Maria, this is time now for a very strong, stable transition. I am leading this transition. I have the support of millions of Iranian people. I have.
Keep in mind that whenever they turned off the internet on in Iran, that Reza Pahlavi's like his videos on Instagram were getting like 30-something million views, and after they turned it off, he went down to getting 3 million views. So you could logically assume that the majority of those 30 million views that he was getting were probably from Iranians. That's how many people watched him and supported him.
The people
60 million
inside
viewers,
the country that are joining and broadening the coalition of forces.
And it's good to have those quantitative, like those quantitative benchmarks.
Will be at play in.
I don't know about that logic. I'm sure that them turning off the Iranian internet from the person that says that they're representing the Iranian transition, and then that person randomly losing 30 million followers and 30 million views on their video, I'm sure they were completely unrelated. You're right. That's so true.
Filling the boxes, the military will side with us, and we have a plan of action and a transition plan. As a matter of fact, I'm glad to hear what Senator Fetterman was saying. It's music to my ears. I always thought that it should be a bipartisan issue when it comes to America's national security interests.
Well, the problem is that the bipartisan issue is not there because the other people don't have America's best interest in mind. They don't care about America. That's the reason why.
Business opportunities in the future, because we as Iranians look at America as our best partner in reconstructing ourselves. The president says MAGA, we say MIGA, make Iran great again. And in that sense, I think that a different Iran that now will be at peace with the region, work with our neighbors, will bring an element of stability, will be good for American national security, but most importantly, an opportunity to be successful in terms of economic growth and what have you. Just by a change that we hope to bring to the table, that will be probably over $1 trillion worth of impact and revenue to the American economy just by Iran's market being open to America, and how much we stand to benefit from billions of dollars willing to be invested into Iran. All that was needed was for this regime to no longer be there. And I think that is something that should be important.
And think about how much money we're going to be able to make by investing in Iran and also working with Iran now. Like, we're talking about billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Like, we're going to make our money back from this operation probably so fast.
To America and
big money,
and Iran both.
So where does this transition leave the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, where leadership there is still vowing revenge? How does this transitional government look when you have Persians, Shia, Sunni, secular government? What do you envision?
But Maria, obviously, I think this campaign is this time something not just to set back the Iranian nuclear program or anything like that. This is like full decapitation of the regime, and ultimately what will expedite its total collapse. The Iranian people has suffered too much to settle for anything less than that. But as soon as the transition plan is put into gear, we want to make sure that we address the issue immediately, to make sure that we have the ability to have a stable process, to obviously lead to ultimately a democratic outcome, so the Iranian people get to choose their future government and system. What we need to do now is to make sure that we bring all the elements that can help that.
And this is the same thing that they've been saying for a while. So anybody who's saying that, they don't have a plan, they're just making up fan fiction. This has been the plan. It was the stated plan for literally over a year. They've been talking about this.
into place. I was talking earlier today with Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a good friend of Iran.
In fact, they have
people
a plan.
now call him lovingly Uncle Lindsey for his position. And he talked to me earlier saying that he would try to organize
20 years?
a bipartisan
Yeah, at least recently.
group at Senate level for us to present that plan. Both the administration and Congress will understand better what we have in mind, and we'll get more into the details. You and I had talked about the IPP project, Iran Prosperity Project, before, and the first 100-day, critically important of how we do that for the initial transition.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I've been working with a number of Iranians from across the spectrum that are united on this purpose. We have the most diverse coalition of people dedicated to that process, representing different parts of the country, including religious minorities, ethnic groups that are all aligned in this national project that we have. So I feel extremely confident that we get this into place and make sure that we can fill the vacuum, and that unlike other scenarios that did not pan out so well, example, post-Saddam Hussein de-Baathification, the Iranian scenario is very different than that.
Yeah.
It's different than Venezuela. We do have an absolutely ironclad plan in mind. Of course, what's critical is the more this regime is totally weakened and it collapses, whatever remains behind is not part of the solution, and they are incorporated into our transition, in the civilian bureaucracy as well as the military and security forces.
Okay, we will be watching all of that.
I mean, again, he's right about this. And so, like, very clearly he has a plan. Like, duh, of course. Compare this guy to Keir Starmer, what a difference. I mean, compare Keir Starmer to anybody, what a difference. I mean, is there anybody that has less aura than Keir Starmer?
Then how long would you expect your transitional leadership to be?
I mean, it's not even close.
Well, Maria, I think that to be realistic, from the time that we start until the day we can have the final referendum,
it's just embarrassing.
I anticipate a period that should not be longer than a couple of years at the most. But what's critical is the first 100 days to immediately stabilize the country, the Iranian economic
Maduro
situation.
Had better aura? I thought Maduro had great aura.
Governments remain as intact as possible, so the functioning of the country continues to be in place, while we bring all the components that makes us bring the country to a position where we come out of it at the very end with the choice that people will have to make, and will be proposed various plans in the Constitutional Assembly, which is the entity that will, of course, debate all these issues.
Well, that would be an incredible day to see.
No, I mean, like, I'm very glad to see this. And again, like, this is so very clearly they do have a plan. They've explained the plan multiple times. They've restated it with the different steps, and all these pretend questions that people have are actually very fucking obvious.